Hello, Dr. Hayes. This is Sam Hine, and this is my second reflection. I am in the Heart District, so I had spring break last week. Without further ado, um, from the reading, I wanted to talk about Chapter 4, What Should I Teach and How, with the curriculum and the instruction dilemmas. This is something that I think about a lot, and it specifically came up in this past week because I finally decided on what I wanted to do for a final with my students. I think I've already said that I came into the middle of this term. I began teaching these students in the third week of school. Their prior teacher quit, and I have the job for the rest of the year. So they have been asking me a good amount of times what I was going to do for the final, and I could not make up my mind. Um, we've had issues with the kids because they don't like to do their homework, they don't like to do their reading, and because of that, they get poor test and quiz scores. So I've been going back and forth on I don't want to assign a final that has them, half of the class bombs it and I come out with a bunch of kids with D's and F's. I don't know how helpful that is to everyone involved. So I was thinking a lot about it, and I kind of thought that my only choices were to do an in class essay, which is okay, but that it would be a huge workload for me. To end the year to have to grade 170 in class essays. And then also, the kids already wrote a 3 day long in class essay. We already are going to have another essay that we'll be working on that's due before the year ends. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. The multiple choice, I really am not a big fan of, especially in an English class, and especially with our situation with me coming in the middle of the year. I have not had a tight enough handle on the standards where I can borrow a final from another teacher. Uh, and again, going back to the issues with the homework and the test scores, I just kind of feel like multiple choice might have been a bloodbath. And then I could have done no final, but then I felt like I would have been derelict in my responsibilities to them as a teacher. So what we decided on this past week, which I'm kind of excited for, um, is I'm going to have them write, memorize, and perform a slam poem. We're going to have on the final day. I think I'm going to try to rent out the theater, and we're going to perform them in there. And I'm really hoping that it lets the kids use their creativity. They don't have to have that strict of guidelines, like in an essay or something like that. And I'm really hoping that my class wants to participate in it. I've been working on modifying it for some of my students. I was telling my English learners that they can have up to, I think I said 25 to 30% of their poem can be in their native language if that helps them. The rest of it needs to be in English. Um, for some of my special ed students, I'm going to let them have their poems up there with them to try to hopefully release some of their anxiety. And I've been giving everyone tons of examples of topics, and I've been showing them YouTube clips of successful slam poems and trying to get the ball rolling on how they should think about this stuff. We're going to do workshops, a bunch of editing, in class writing, all that sort of stuff where I want them ideally to be really prepared for this, and I'm hoping it can be something that is a great way to end the year. And I may not do it as a final in future years, but hopefully this is an assignment I can get a handle on as something uh, that I want to teach in the future. Yeah. So that is something that I decided on this past week. It is something I've been working on with my students, and that section of the book is something that I think about a lot. So I thought that that would be a good topic for one of my reflections. I'm interested to see how this next week goes. We have state testing. I'll be administering the CASP Tuesday and Wednesday to my 11th graders, and then I think next week my 10th graders are going to take some tests. So I will let you know how that goes. Thank you.